I guess I did not hit stream, so I should be streaming now. So I think for the first time, I am live on Instagram. I think. I should be streaming on Instagram. This is the first time I've ever done that. Hey, good morning, Felix Sandoval. So I was, so here's my thought process. Over the last 2 weeks, I have been down in Charleston, South Carolina for NEC 2026 and development. So we began the first draft meetings for the 2026 code cycle. And I had all of these intentions. So I got to see people I haven't seen in a lot of years. But if you've ever gone to a code panel meeting, especially if you're a part of the process, it is grueling. I mean, it is 24/7 of talking about changes and language, worrying about commas and semicolons and colons, and whether it should be a list item, a first level subdivision, a second level subdivision. I had individuals who were sitting in the back of the room during the code panel meetings and saying, we would break and somebody would come up to me and say, do you realize what you guys just did? And I'm like, well, what did we just do? Because you're so close to the language that in some cases you can't see the forest through the trees. And it's a talent to be able to do it all. So last 2 weeks have been NEC 2026 first draft meetings. And today on IAEI News Live at 12 o'clock, I want to talk about some of the items, so some of the chatter that was going on. What are the various code panels thinking about and doing? I want to talk about the process. It's important to understand where we're at in the process and what happens next, and then how does that translate into the 2026 code and etc. So I want to chat with everybody a little bit more about the process so that we all understand things that we're hearing and seeing. What does it mean? Will it come to fruition? All that good stuff. So that's today at 12 o'clock Eastern on IAEI News Live. Hopefully you all be able to join me for that. Another thing, so I had all of these intentions last 2 weeks. I drove down to Charleston because I was going to be there for 2 weeks. I figured, hey, it's a nine and a half hour drive. I can take as many clothes as I want, equipment. I took my 2 lights. I had set them up in my room, and I did an IAI News Live. I recorded one from there. I recorded a session with Nihad El Sharif on some panel 2 activities. So you can check that out on IAI News Lives on IAI's YouTube channel. I had all these great intentions of, like, every night. I said, every night I'm going to go back up to my room and I'm going to say, here's what happened during the day. I mean, my intentions were great. But what I didn't realize is how exhausting, and I couldn't remember. I mean, every cycle it's the same thing. You sit in you sit down at the table all day, and you've got to make sure your head is in the game, and you're looking at language. You're worried about commas and semicolons and colons, whether it needs to be a list item, first level subdivision, second level subdivision. What's the title of the section? And I know I went through all of this. I do a lot of prep before I sit down at the panel, as does everyone else. I do a lot of preparation to understand what the submitter or submitters are looking for. And in some cases, they don't have the right language. So you got to say, well, we love their intent, we love the substantiation, and we need to figure out how the language, right? So it was there's a lot that goes on. And then there's task group work. So then on top of, after you focus all day and you say, look, we didn't get this piece of language down, I tend to volunteer to chair task groups or participate on task groups. And then we meet in the evenings or at lunch. So I'll tell you what, I was exhausted. By the end of the evening, I was exhausted. So I did not document as much, but my plans are moving forward. I want to keep you all in the process. I want you to understand some of the changes that are occurring in the 2026 code cycle. There are a lot of important changes. I mean, we have restructuring going on. And if you don't know anything about what's going on with restructuring, OMG, I'm going to try to get, I'll try to get Larry Ayer online to talk about some of the restructuring efforts and going on. We have new articles being created, not just for the restructuring, but also, for example, I proposed, and I believe, and panel 12 accepted, a new article for creating requirements for, of all things, electric boats, electric farm equipment charging. There are so many different pieces of equipment, and you know what was really interesting is none of them meet the definition of what an electric vehicle is. So you got requirement, you've got new technology, you've got electric farm equipment, you've got electric powered boats that need charged. We're putting electric chargers. I can't call it an electric vehicle charger because they're not vehicles, because they don't meet the definition in the National Electrical Code for a vehicle. So we don't have requirements in the code to address those applications, and they're critical. So I proposed a new article and I presented to panel 12. And they said, yeah, all right, we're going to create a new article. So we're going to talk about that during the upcoming weeks of both my YouTube channel. You got to subscribe, get out to my YouTube channel, take a look at what I've got going on over there. I want to share with you as much as I can in that regard. On all my social media platforms. And right now, this is the first time I have ever gone live on Instagram. I don't even know what it looks like. I'm seeing nothing on Instagram. I don't know. Anyone see me? I'm going to post it. I see Felix Sandoval. He's out there on Instagram. I just did... share. Let's see, event log. Broadcast was started 12 minutes ago. Video stream was received. Broadcast was created 13 minutes ago. So it looks like I'm at 30 feet per second, 30 frames per second, 5 kilobaud per second on Instagram. I've never done this before. So I'm going to put a smiley face. No? Oh yeah, I can. I can put a smiley face. I can put, I'm going to put claps and hit post. I don't even know if I'm posting there. But at any rate, I'm going to go to Instagram. So let me do this. I got 2 new messages. Am I on Instagram? I don't know. I'm supposed to be on Instagram. It doesn't show you that you're on Instagram. I'm streaming supposedly to Instagram. I don't know. So anyway, hopefully you can join me today at 12 o'clock Eastern for IAEI News Live. Again, I want to start talking about some of the key changes that are occurring for the 2026 code cycle. Because there's a lot, in my opinion, there is a lot to think about. when it comes to 2026 codes. So we've got a lot of changes that are occurring for many different reasons. We Article 220 load calculations. There's a lot of focus on the dwelling unit load calculation. I guess we're trying to, the submitters of that are trying to right size. Hey, Nihad El Sharif, I can see you on both YouTube and Facebook. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Nihad. Thanks for that report out. So, I hope you made it back safely. I believe you did. We were communicating. I made it back. Jake had his X-ray yesterday, and everything looks great. He can do steps, so now he can go up the stairs. I just heard him go up the stairs as I was down here. Bobby Joe went up to the upstairs, and all is right with the world, Nihad. So we are feeling good. So everybody's doing well. Thank goodness. So, but over the next couple of weeks and moving forward, I want to help just go through some of the key changes that are occurring in 2026 and see what we can raise awareness on some of the big changes that are occurring in the NEC. There's a lot going on. Alternative energy in 690, we'll take a look at 690 and 70. So Article 710 seems to be getting smaller. Article 710 is just shrinking, and that's I think that's just based on the fact that the overlap with Article 702. So we're going to be seeing some changes in Chapter 7 and 8. A lot of the stuff in Chapter 8 is moving up to the front of the book, which is a good thing. So there's a lot of changes going on in Chapter 8 and Chapter 7. I believe in 705 as well, your interconnected systems. Oh, and 750, energy management. There's a lot going on in energy management. We are using energy management. We had this discussion, and Nia will tell you. We had, hey, Keith Wilson, good to see you. All right, yeah, Keith. I tell you what, we're going to start talking about 2026 stuff at 12 o'clock and moving forward. So stay tuned for that. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. We were just talking energy management systems. Keith is getting a lot of focus in the code and in. Oh, that's right. You're in Orlando. And in the standards. So we've got a new standard for energy management systems. And I don't know about you, Keith, and others, but when I first started with Eaton back in 1996, I went from a design engineer to on the help desk, and I thought, man, this is a challenge for me because I enjoy I enjoy engineering, right? So I started working with customers who were employing energy management systems. We had devices that communicated. I did a lot in communications, trying to bring back data to either a database or to software applications like Wonderware and Iconics. Back in the day, it was Wonderware. Then we sort of split between Wonderware and Iconics. And then I'm going to address that comment from the Facebook user. I'm not sure who that was. But back in the day, we used energy management systems to do what? To avoid peak demands. I mean, we would help very large companies avoid setting that peak demand, which would basically impact their bill for the entire year, right? So we monitored, and our motto was you can't manage it unless you monitor it, right? So we did a lot of monitoring. We communicated with all of our trip units. And then we had the icing on the cake, I called it, was being able to change set points or look at your trip curves and be able to change and modify the trip curves on a overcurrent protective device. Those were like icing on the cake. But nothing that we did in energy management was safety related, right? It was all customers who wanted to save money on their bill. Well, now in the code, I can change the size of my service. I can size my feeder and size equipment based upon an energy management system. So the right people in the industry were asking the question, are we doing the right thing? That was an important question. So then we said, well, there's a differentiation between the energy management system that we use for avoiding a peak demand and the energy management system that we use to rely on from a set point perspective to size feeders and distribution equipment. And because of that differentiation, there was a need for code requirements and standards, product standards, because we want to make sure that, okay, what happens if your energy management system is turned off? Or what happens if your set points are determined by the cloud and you lose internet? What's the fallback position? Does all of a sudden now you overload your feeders and you overload your service and you overload distribution equipment? The code is addressing that now. So there's a lot to come in regard to energy management. So y'all are going to want to make sure you focus and pay attention to that. Now, a Facebook user who remains anonymous, I wonder if and when all electric vehicles move to Chapter 4, becoming not so special anymore, more generalized. Well, I'll tell you what, random Facebook user, that is a definite possibility that it will move further up. It's a possibility. There's a philosophy, and I don't know where your head's at on this, but I'll tell you what the philosophy is. That whenever, say you go to an educational program on 2020, whatever code changes, what do? We start the meeting in Chapter 1. We hit 110, then we go to 210, then we go to 220. Maybe you hit 215 in there. Then you hit 240, and you work your way up through. If you're lucky, you'll get into Chapter 4. If you're real lucky, you'll get through Chapter 4. And if you're extremely lucky, you might get to something in Chapter 5 or 6 or 7. So the thought, a lot of individuals well, I'm just going to tell you, some individuals have told me that when you look at all of these different code change classes, they rarely spend time in the back of the book. So those individuals will say moving it to the front of the book is a good thing because now people will start talking about it and get educated on the requirements. That train is out there if you want to hop on it. That's what some people are saying. I'm not sure if I may have one foot on that train. I will say that we probably talk a lot more about chapters 1 through 4 than anything else. Ryan Jackson, it was great seeing you in Charleston, buddy. Good seeing all of you in Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know about you, Ryan. I was just talking earlier about I had so many plans for throwing up the camera, getting guys like you. I mean, what an opportunity to say, hey, let's throw up the camera and have a chat. I got to do that with Tim McClochie. I got to do that with Brian Holland. And honestly, the Brian Holland one, I'm putting them both together. I think me and Tim, we did 30 minutes, and me and Brian did about, I don't know, maybe 15-minute discussion, really quick discussion. But I got to get better at exposures, and I got to learn this camera. I haven't done that. Was like the first impromptu, and then even with me and Nihad, the exposures aren't quite right. So I got to learn how to. They call it run and gun. So I got to learn how to take the camera, set it up, and get a good exposure, and not be overexposed. That's my issue. But great seeing you. I don't know about you, but it was an exciting 2 weeks, and I was drained. I had all of these good intentions, but by the evening, I mean, I'd get out of that meeting, and I'd find my perch. They called me. They said I'm holding court, and I would just. I'm just like, I'm drained. I was absolutely drained. But we had a lot of great things occurring, and I think there's a lot of things that will occur in 2026. And what I want to do is just take everybody through that journey. So, yep, we had a great week. So Nihad, you're going to fly out at 2:30 today. I hope the IEEE meetings went great down in Orlando. I wish I could have been there, but there was no way I could have done it. So anyway, I'm back in the saddle. I'm getting caught up. I've got so many voicemails, so many emails, so many texts. If you emailed me, or you called me, or you sent me a text, I apologize right off the bat. I was out of it for 2 weeks. And you know what 1 week of vacation does for you? 2 weeks of work focused on the NEC. In the evenings, we were arguing and talking about commas and what we did. I remember getting up from break and walking to the back of the room, and someone pulled me on the side and said, "Do you know what you guys just did?" And I'm like, "Well, we made some good code, I thought." "No, you didn't." And then we would have to go back in and reopen and fix things. And there's still, I know, a few things on panel 2 that we need to clean up. In fact, Nihad, I was looking at 210.8 in the NEC in our first, well, what do they call that? TerraView. And what we did was we separated indoor wet locations and indoor damp locations, right? So I don't know why 210.8a just can't get into sync with 210.8b. So when I looked in Terra, and I'm going to call Barry Chase about it to see if when I look at my notes, anyway, when I look in Terra in 210.8a, it says we separated, instead of saying indoor wet locations for one line item and then indoor damp locations for another item, it says indoor wet and then indoor damp locations. We forgot locations in the first one. And I'm like, I know it was in my task group report. I don't remember seeing it that way on the screen when we voted. So I got to call Barry Chase and see if we can't fix that before ballot. Yeah, Nihad. You know what it does? It like sticks out like a sore thumb when you're looking. When you have gone through all the arguing and all the debating, and then you're looking at Terra. Now I understand from a process perspective, NFPA staff will basically take what we did, and what they're trying to do is, as we are working, they're updating TerraView, and I just think it was missed. So I'm going to send Barry an email and see if, oh my gosh, and see if he can fix that before ballot. I don't know. In fact, I reopened the one. Remember, I reopened the one where we we changed the word exceeding to over, and we argued and debated about it. And it was like there was a sentence, and we argued it and debated. And we changed exceeding to over. But if we would have went 3 words before the change that we did, we had exceeding there. So I went back in, I didn't reopen, I just made a motion to change exceeding to over to be consistent. Whether or not you agree with changing that word, I don't know, but or anybody out there who looks at it. But I was like, oh my gosh, give me a break. Anyway, I agree with you. Otherwise, we will need public comment. I know. I'm just tired of changing it because remember what happened last cycle in 210.8b, we changed and to or correctly, but they didn't do the change in 210.8a. And I know we voted on it. I know we did it. I believe it had to have been a transpose error or whatever. So, but it is what it is. So I don't know. Anyway, today at 12 o'clock Eastern, IAEI News Live. The link is down below. You're all gonna have to join us, and we're gonna talk about 2026 first draft. I'll help you understand the process, where we're at in the process for 2026, and then some of the chatter that occurred around the I would say around the coffee pot, but it was more like around the bar because we all sort of migrated to the bar restaurant area in the hotel. They had a really nice setting venue outside with some fire pits, but it was too cold in Charleston, South Carolina. But so hopefully today at 12 o'clock Eastern, link down below, we are going... Nihad, no, there's no ballotable detail for the definition of a Class A HF. And you're right, we should have motioned for it. But the good news is it won't be new material in second draft. And you know what we'll do? We will... Tommy D court. Yeah, I was holding court, and it went. It was a long 2 weeks, but we did some. I think we wrote some good. I'm seeing good code from many different code panels, so I'm seeing some good stuff. I want to make sure that we talk about it on my channel. And I want to make sure that we start talking about it on IAEI's channel and just help everybody understand what's going on. And then, you never know. There's probably ideas for public comments that we can generate to help fix things and get more people's opinion on the table. That's the key, in my opinion. Got to get more. My opinion is we need more opinions. That's not bad. So anyway, that's what's going on today at 12 o'clock Eastern. Hopefully you can join in for an IAEI News Live at 12 o'clock on the IAEI's YouTube channel. So that's where we're at. All right, so I don't know. I guess I'm live on Instagram. Looks like I am. Looks like I'm live on Instagram. This is my first time going live on Instagram. I see Felix Sandoval was out there. I'm not sure if anything's getting through. I have no clue. I've never gone live on Instagram. It's a new feature. It's a new feature on OBS software that I'm using. And it says I'm live, but when I just saw my face moving over there, but I can't see myself live. I was moving, I made a comment, and then it disappeared. It froze. Anyway, I'm gonna go to Instagram over here, and it doesn't show me going live on my feed. So I don't know. Let me hit home, do comments, requests, close. I don't know. Anyway, that's what's going on today. I'm getting caught up. So if there's anything that you guys and gals, if you left me a voicemail, if you sent me an email, I'm in the process of getting caught up. Yesterday, I did a little bit of that. No worries, Nihad. No worries. This is my first time trying to. I don't know. Everybody I talk to is I'm seeing more and more people on Instagram. So I thought, I have an Instagram account, so I would go over there, but they don't. I don't know how you see your live feeds, or I don't know. It's new. We're cutting edge, bleeding edge here on TD Unplugged. Yeah, I do have a TD Unplugged footer, I thought. I go to studio mode. Yeah, Nihad, I should have some time to chat. Where's my TD Unplugged? Watch this. Hold on. Footer generic. And then I'm going to go to, there it is. Look at that. Huh? I got my new logo. I got a logo now. And I have an animated one I haven't figured out how to do yet. So, salute. All right, everybody. Listen, I am going to sign off. Thanks for joining in. Please see you at 12 o'clock Eastern on IAEI News Live, where we're going to talk about 2026 code cycle, first draft meetings. Maybe I'll try to get a clip put together for. Actually, I'm not going to do that. You'll stay tuned. I'll be posting on IAEI's website a recorded session I did with Tim McClochie, and then I also grabbed Brian Holland from NEMA. Talk about energy there, man. That guy's got a lot of energy, and we recorded a short session. So you like my logo down there? Yeah, I just turned it on. So just turned it on, Nihad. Anyway, let's chat, Nihad, after I get off here, and then go from there. All right. I know I'm going to see a lot of people at 12 o'clock Eastern. So see you at 12 o'clock Eastern today. IAEI News Live. Link is down below, up above, left or right, depending upon which platform you're looking at this on. See you soon. Thanks for all that you do for the electrical industry. And remember to stay safe, and please, by all means, stay healthy. It's the least we could do. All right. See you at 12.